Good evening. Dominic Cummins broke the rules. The country can see that, and it shocked the government cannot. The longer ministers and Prime Minister tell us he worked within them, the more angry the response to this scandal is likely to be. He was the man, remember, who always got the public mood, who tagged the lazy label of elite on those who disagreed. He should understand that public mood now, one of fury, contempt and anguish. He made those who struggle to keep to the rules feel like fools and has allowed many more to assume they can now flout them. The Prime Minister knows all this, but despite the resignation of one minister, growing unease from his backbenchers, a dramatic early warning from the polls and a deep national disquiet, Boris Johnson has chosen to ignore it. Tonight we consider what this blind loyalty tells us about the workings of Number 10. We do not expect to be joined by a government minister, but that won't stop us asking the question.
I wonder why they wouldn't be joined by a government minister. Why do you think that might be? I mean, take a little guess why it wouldn't be that a government minister wouldn't join the BBC after that intro. Let me have a think. Not quite sure. Maybe it was because you introduced a news program on what is supposed to be an independent, publicly funded news channel with an opinion piece about the whole Dominic Cummins issue. And you've decided the guy is guilty. You've decided that the public, the entire public, are outraged, which they're not. You've decided that, and you've decided that you are now custodians of moral decency, the BBC? Sorry, Emily. I noticed I got an email, a text about 2 minutes ago that they'd apologised and you've been replaced, and rightly so. How fucking dare you? How fucking dare you introduce a programme on what is supposed to be an independent news? You know, the BBC is supposed to be the independent, neutral, impartial, the last outpost of impartiality in the world, if not the United Kingdom. My God, what have we become? What have we become? Welcome to Maseys Mancave. Hope you're well. Got the logo up there. Welcome. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate company. Didn't do this last week. Been busy. Been a bit fed up, to be honest with you. Fed up with politics. Fed up with arguing with people. Fed up of, responding to tweet when I'm not on Twitter anymore. Responding to people on Facebook about stuff I don't agree with. Fed up with arguing with friends. But I don't know, felt a need tonight. To come online and open it up. How you all feeling? We're what? I don't know, 65. I've lost count now. 65, 60, 66 days into lockdown. I have no idea what we are now. We're so long into lockdown, everyone's lost track of time. No one has any idea what's going on. So I don't know how you're doing. I've struggled. I've had some very emotional moments with the better half. It's quite hard. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what the best option is. Is it to go into work and risk getting COVID and travel into work? Is it to stay at home and murder your kids and your partner or your wife and try and work at home, or is it to be furloughed and then just try and have a holiday? I don't know. I'd love to hear from people that I've been working from home and it's been hard. It's been really, really hard, really hard. How hard has it been? Probably not as hard as going into a hospital and treating people with diseases, but it's been hard. It's been difficult. It's been one of those kind of experiences I don't really want to go through again. But at the same time, uh, there's so many people out there that have had it harder than me. So many people, and God knows how they've coped. How have you coped? I've got some messages coming through. It's really hard because I've got to put my glasses on now. Hang on. Oh, I've got cable coming out my ears and eyes. Oh. So let's see. We've got some messages coming through. Oh, Christ almighty, look. All right, let's put those on. Maybe I should have put my glasses on first off. So I've got my friend Ed, and I can't even see what he's saying. Hi there, mate. Glad to hear everything's good in Great Britain. Crazy out there. Ed, I hope you're well out there in the United States. I am still, I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. I'm still really worried about the United States. I'm worried that you've opened up too early. I could be wrong, but I'm really worried about that. Gary, my friend up there up in Liverpool, also at home with twins. I know, I've seen them. They're very, very gorgeous. Not as gorgeous as mine, obviously, but going to take you. I mean, things have been opening up. Beaches have been opening up. Oh, well, not actually. So the advice is, what is the advice? The advice is, and this is what I'm a big government supporter. Everyone knows that. I back Boris. I back the government, and I am a big government supporter. And even though I believe that me and my family could go out right now or tomorrow, socialise a bit more, maybe even go to the beach, have a walk on the beach. We've made a decision because we're adults and we have brains that we are probably going to just like chill out for the next week or so, see how things go, see how the land lies, because that's kind of common sense. And in the UK, there's been this fury, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Fury, anger, venom, hostility, abuse. And before we go further, I'm not going to defend. So anyway, let's cut to the chase. So there is this senior advisor to the government called Dominic Cummins. And if you've ever watched In the Thick of It on BBC, political program about government advisors and about how they run the roost and F and blind and tell ministers to do what they want, stand up, sit down, turn around, spin on their ass, whatever. This is this guy. So Dominic Cummins is the guy, and apparently he is the architect for the Brexit and getting Brexit over the line. And the guy has been exposed in the past 7 days, probably a week ago or so, for breaking the rules that he invented, breaking the lockdown rules. And I've switched off the TV this week, switched off the news, switched off everything. And because it's all about this guy, it's all about how this guy, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister's chief aide, has broken the rules and abused his position or whatever he's done. And I'll be honest, it's got a bit tiresome. It's got a bit tiresome and it's got a bit boring and it's got a bit worrying, in my opinion. It's got worrying because and I'm gonna get to the I'm gonna get to the apology. I've written an apology for him. Right? So we'll get to that. But it's got a bit worrying because to me, this isn't about COVID and it's not about the government's failures and it's not about left versus right. It's about, and it, and I am not, I don't think the earth is flat and I don't think, all these conspiracy theories and things that go around. I don't think any of that. But I really do believe that the media have decided to make this the biggest. It's been the only thing on the news. The only thing. And it's been fueled by Twitter and comedians doing their little thing about eyesight. And I'm not even going to get into his explanation about what he did. Because to me, that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It doesn't really matter to me what he did and whether he was right or whether he was wrong, or whether he told the truth, whether he lied. For me, this is about how we treat human beings. And if truly we are all equal, and if truly that we do believe in a society where everybody has the right to, live a life in peace and, go about their business and do their job and do everything that they're supposed to do without fear or without intimidation, do the rules stop when you become a Tory or an advisor to a Tory government? I'd love to hear from anyone out there that's listening or watching that is left leaning. That do you believe it's acceptable that once there's a line that's drawn? Is there a line that's drawn that you can't abuse someone up to the point that you find out they're Tory, and then once you find out they're Tory, you can abuse them. You can camp outside their house. You can. What can you do? You can. He supported him. He did all those things. Like Boris has supported him, and I'm trying to find. And we've seen the pictures. It makes doesn't it make a mockery? Am I wrong? Does it not make a mockery of everything they're reporting? That, excuse me, advisor, why is it that you did X, Y, and Z? And they're crowded him. They're outside his house. They're, pouncing on him as he leaves his house. And I understand that a lot of that is, some of that is down to the fact that, some of the reasons why the press or his neighbours were treating him was why he did what he did. But let's go to a few facts, right? So I think it was the 23rd of March. 23rd of March, I think it was. Yeah, Tony, there's a copper outside his house, does fuck to do with the Bay mob. Shameful. I agree, it's shameful. It is shameful. And I am gonna raise that issue that some people might not want me to raise, but I am gonna raise it soon. And it was not so long ago. So if I hate to say it, I'm gonna say it, right? Let's just say Cummins got shot and murdered tonight. Put it out there. stalked down by some nutty left-wing lunatic and just went out and shot him, right? It'd be all Joe Cox all over again. Oh, we should be so much nicer, and it should be all so much, oh, we should never have done that, and we should never have hounded him, and oh, I'm sorry, he had his own problems, and apologise. But I thought that was all in the past. I thought this was the politics of the future, the nicer kind of politics, the politics that understood, that was compassionate and forgiving and understood people's. Like, I even saw someone criticising him for having an autistic kid, or raising the fact that he had an autistic kid. He's got an autistic kid, right? But they criticised him raising the fact he had an autistic kid. Because what? Because why? I'm telling you right now, right this minute, and I guarantee 99% of the people that are watching this right now or in the future, if you're a parent, if you're a father, you're a mother, or if you're a carer, foster parent, grandma, granddad that have got custody of your grandkids or whatever, you do whatever you think's right, right? Absolutely, without question. And the government advice, 23rd of March, right? I'm going to read it. You must stay at home, right? However, the advice also said that it might not always be able to be followed in respect to children. I've lost my note. I'm so amateurish. Keep following the advice to the best of your ability. Okay. So if my ability is that I can follow the advice and stay within the confines of my house and my home, brilliant. Absolutely. If you have children, follow to the best of your ability. We are aware we are aware that these measures will not always be possible. So again, let's recap. Oh, actually, I don't even want to recap. I want to take my glasses off and my headphones. Have a look at some of the comments that are coming through. Okay. So I've got Mr. Baker. How are you? There's no, we've done you, Tony. So Colin, for a real, it wasn't. Well, I believe it was guidance and advice. And so he hasn't been nicked. Of course, he hasn't been nicked because he hasn't broken a law. He hasn't been nicked because there's no law been broken. What's happening now is this vicious witch hunt, including some of the actually normally right-leading press, like the Mail and the Sun, that seemed incapable. And like I saw I saw a comment. I think it was 80% of the British public think he should be sacked. Well, I live in a house of 6, and the twins don't think he should be sacked, and I don't think he should be sacked. So there's 100% in my house that don't think he should be sacked. Mr. Buxton, let's have a look. Mr. Brown, Simon Brown. John, my main concern is the move of the media to become the moral arbiter and judge and jury. I agree. They find someone guilty, then expect them to Simon. So I used to work with Simon, or I was associated with Simon back in my Transport for London days. And Simon, I've been thinking about this, and a key thing that I was thinking about earlier today was they make the news, right? So they make the news. So this Cummins thing's broke, and they've They've gone with it and they've gone with it and they've doubled down and doubled down and they've gone with it again and they've gone with it again. Right? So I was in the car the other day and Radio 5 Live were doing this phone in. Nicky Campbell. Oh, it's the big topic of conversation. It's Cummins, should he be sacked? Blah, blah, blah. Right? Didn't have to be the topic of conversation. Didn't have to be. The BBC chose it to be the topic of conversation. It could have been about what flowers are you growing in your garden during lockdown? What cakes are you baking? But the media is just focused. It's like a pincer movie. It's focused on this negativity, this drive to be as negative as possible. And I don't know if you've seen Wag the Dog, the film. I think it's Dustin Hoffman, John Travolta. There's this like drive to create new stories, to create new stories like Cummins or like, so like if we can bring the government down, then we can be back outside Parliament in our tents and talk about how unprecedented everything is because the government's collapsed and Cummins has gone and Boris has resigned. It's almost as if they really want to get to that point, that they want to generate this desire for negative news. It's utter indefensible bullshit that he and his pals are spouting. I don't believe it's. Except this is my sister, by the way. Who are we talking about? Media appalling the behaviour, but I don't think it's just the right that are abused. Corbyn suffered terribly. Are we talking about? Should we talk about? Let's talk about. Yeah, so he's been hounded, Sarah. I agree with you. Let's talk about, where is that thing? Where is it? Dawson. There he is. Hang on, let me get rid of the other thing. Sorry. There you go. Some Sunderland fan, I think it is, that used to do a podcast with Vic Reeves, Bob Mortimer, and he was tweeting in response to, I think it was, I can't remember, some MP's, someone will tell me, some MP's wife. Hey you, I see your cunt of a husband is lying through his fucking teeth all over the TV this morning. I'd pay hard cash to chase the fucker down the street and boot him in the balls, and definitely in front of your kids, because they need to know what a rank shit house their dad is. So yeah, I sometimes struggle actually with, I don't know, the abuse I get. I do get abuse. I think I do get abuse about being on the right wing. Are you on the right? Are you on the right wing? Do you get abuse? Are you ashamed of being a Tory? Are you ashamed of being Labour or Lib Dem? I've got a speech that I think Cummins could have done. It's coming up. I've got a speech that I think would have helped him out. Colin, me and Lowell don't think he should be sacked. I don't think he should be sacked. Kerry, hello, Mace. Not into politics, but I like to say lockdown is hard for lots of different reasons for everyone. For me, I find I miss seeing my family and friends. Oh God, don't you miss the small things, Kerry? The little tiny little bitsy little things are just like going out and going to see your mum and giving her a hug, or just like the tiny little things, going down to the pub, just having a pint and playing pool or whatever it is. I don't know. It's just, I think we'll definitely appreciate the little things in life coming forward. Cummins is shaking up the civil service. This is from Tony Baker. Those who've been plodding along. Yeah, I think you're right, Tony. I think I've got something. I'm going to play something else. I'm going to play another little video. For only one reason, actually, because I want to know what you think. Because I think the geezer is half okay, and then I think he's a twat. And I need someone who I think he's a twat, but he could be okay. So I want to know. I want to know what you think. So let's play this guy. His name. Hang on, let me find it. Hang on, I lost it or complete now. It's all gone. It's all gone Pete Tong. Hang on. No, hang on. Let's find it. There we go. So this Jonathan.
Well, this is odd,
Jonathan
isn't it?
Pye geezer, right?
Just being out. It's like being back to normal for a morning. It's back at Westminster, having a pop at the Tories. It's like nothing ever happened. Dominic Cummins.
Is he Labour?
Dominic Cummins' statement.
What was he supposed to be?
Cummins. Properly and lawfully. Properly and lawfully. Dominic Cummins. If he did behave properly and lawfully, then okay. But that means the government's entire corona strategy is nonsensical, because I thought I understood it.
Could he not?
It seems straightforward to me, but clearly I was mistaken. And I'm not
done
thick,
this monologue from his garden.
and I'm also not one of these people. Tell me what to do. I'm just a sheep and I can't think for myself. Tell me what to do. I know what to do.
Independent guy.
All right, I thought I did. Stay at home, especially if you're pretty sure you got fucking COVID. And that's what I did. And it's been fucking horrible. Now, Dominic Cummins is a populist twat who looks like a tortoise's head is emerging from a shell suit. But that has got nothing to do with it. This isn't just Ramona's revenge at the architect of Brexit. For my part, that has got nothing to do with it.
He tries to make out he's on one side.
It has a little bit to do with it. Yes, the reason people are having a hard time giving Dominic Cummins the benefit of the doubt is it's Dominic Cummins. And yes, the British press, who aren't exactly known for their class, unable to contain their glee, they smelt blood and managed on more than one occasion to give Dominic Cummins the moral high ground. Dicks!
What is he on? Is he on his exercise
Let's just allow Cummins this. He is a human being, presumably, dealing with a highly unusual, unprecedented personal and professional situation. Okay, why no apology? Why no humility? Why no hint of a suggestion from anyone running the country that this confuses the issue, at least just a little bit? I'm not angry because this is the fucker that gave us Brexit and put Boris in number 10. I'm not actually that angry at what this prick actually did. I'm angry at the hypocrisy and the lack of humility in the government's response. I'm angry that should we get a second wave and we have to lock down again, this gives a lot of twats a lot of reasons not to bother, because why the fuck should they? I'm angry at the way all the cabinet all rallied round with a pre-prepared, oven-ready tweet. It's perfectly reasonable to want to care for your own children. Really? Fuck you! You patronising bastards. Essentially, if you were in the same boat as Cummins and you decided to stick to the common interpretation of the rules and stay at home, then you are not a good parent. This guy was so concerned.
Let's turn him off. I mean, so it's okay. So it's okay for this geezer, this, I think, abusive, non-funny, left-wing. I'm not going to say tosser because, like, that's come down to his level. All he did was like go. Do you notice how he said before every MP or every politician? He prefaced it with an abusive word. You, what a, Have you noticed that? That's acceptable. When you're talking about Tories, when you're talking about people in power, apparently that's acceptable. But if you're to say it to Corbyn or if you're to say it to Sir Keir or anyone like that, then, you're out of order. You kind of like you're not towing the line. I mean, I'm sorry. The greatest hypocrisy that's going on right now is we've had 3 Labour MPs, not advisors, not government advisors, MPs, members of Parliament. One of them, the son of the former Labour leader, that have broken the laws or the rules or the regulations or the guidance or the advice or whatever you want to call them. They broke them. They broke them. In the same way, or if not the same way, or to the same extent as Mr. Dominic Cummins. But because it's Dominic Cummins and because the media don't like it and the media don't agree with the way that he's taken the country, there you go. Hang on, here's my sister again. What you read is appalling, but sadly, hang on, I'm going to put that back up again, Sarah. Sorry, darling. What you read is appalling, but sadly, vile things come out of the mouths of the right and left. You're absolutely right. I think the distinction's always been made. I agree with one of your mates on here that if he apologised and shown humility, then it would have blown over. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do, Sarah? I'm going to be. So I agree with you. So here you go. I agree with my sister Sarah and some other comments, obviously. And I truly believe that yet again, the Tory government, and some might be surprised to hear it, have shot themselves in the fucking foot, the fucking idiots that they are. Because this could have all been done and dusted. It could have all been done and dusted. And so I have got an announcement from Dominic Cummins, right? This is what he should have said. I've written it down. I worked on it today. So, are you ready? So this is me, Dominic Cummins, right? All this media speculation on me. You ready? All this media speculation, all this kind of abuse, people camping outside my door, people baying for my blood, want me to resign. You ready? And is this better or worse than what he did? Hang on, I'm not as ugly. Do I need to wear my glasses? Hang on. No, I don't know. Let's just pretend I'm as ugly as Dominic Cummins. All right, okay. Good evening. I am truly sorry if my actions have caused anyone any offence or upset. When I and the government first set out the guidance and advice as to what citizens of the United Kingdom could not do to reduce the significant negative impact that COVID-19 could have, not just on the United Kingdom, but on the world. I firmly believed that the messages that the Prime Minister, his ministers, and the civil service gave out were clear, concise, and I've forgotten the next bit. I believe that my actions during this crisis have always and utterly and unflinchingly been within and in the spirit of the guidance and advice that the government gave. I do, however, accept in hindsight that some people may not have taken actions such as the ones that I did, and visited loved ones and cared for parents or children, because they may have misunderstood the guidance that the government gave. And for that, I sincerely apologise. How's that? How's that? Let me know. Any good? Better? Worse? I need my glasses. I can't see shit. We can't hear you. Oh, I wasn't saying anything really significant while he was spouting on. He was a comedian. He was an idiot. He just annoyed me. It's called satire. I mean, okay. So you might not have been able to hear me when I was playing that clip of Jonathan Applepie. So I need to get the hang of this a little bit more. But I guess my point is like, satire is, I believe satire is a great thing and good thing, but when you preface every when you start every kind of introduction into the character that you're going to talk about, i.e., that twat, that idiot, that fucker, that dickhead, that wanker, I mean, don't you? Is that satire? Is that satire? Is that, is that satire when you're, like when you're trying to be independent and just funny and also, and did he really need, what I was saying over the video, did he really need to travel to Westminster? So like he's giving this monologue about what a wanker Cummins is for travelling halfway across. Where does he travel from? Jonathan fucking Pye. Where does he fucking live? Couldn't he do it in his backyard? Did he really need to? Is he following the guidance and advice to the letter? Fuck it. Is he? Is he following the advice to the, is he, could he have not done that job from his back garden? He was just being videoed. Yeah, I think he could have done. He could have even had a green screen. Couldn't he? Yeah, he's there live or whatever it is in front of Parliament Square. He's travelled from one place to another and he's fucking criticising Cummins. It's fucking hilarious. Can not anyone see how hilarious that is? Seriously, let's bring some comments up. Oh, that was you saying you can't hear me. He's a comedian, John. He was doing you. I don't give a fuck. He's not funny, is he? I share the same barnet as Cummins. Thank you, Tony. Bastard. My sister again. Marley better doesn't cut it. What doesn't cut it? So anyway, well, you don't think the apology cuts it? I thought it was all right. I apologised if anyone. I was apologising. In a way, I was apologising if you misunderstood. If you didn't understand the guidance, then I'm really sorry that you didn't understand the guidance. You could go and see, guys, look after your kids or look after your thing. Don't think that washes. Okay. Let's have a look at my notes. Oh, I've got to talk about so. Let's have a look at, where's Emily? Oh, I did it at the front. But anyway, look, we've got to talk about this, haven't we? Right? The press, right? They come in for a lot of criticism, don't they? Suzanne Evans. Oh, I saw that. Lol, I saw that. If Dominic Cummins walked on water, the headlines would be Cummins can't swim. I mean, the news is the news, isn't it? The news. I mean, I was thinking about this earlier, and I was trying to think about, can you, isn't it a fuel? You fuel it. They fuel it themselves, don't they? Am I wrong? Don't they fuel it themselves? Like the nation is outraged. And like what they do is like, are you outraged? And like people phone up and go, yeah, I'm outraged. And it's like they fuel it. They kind of like, I just think this. I don't know. As I say, I don't think the government have done themselves any favours. Again, and I think they could have handled it a lot better. And I do think the excuses just left them open to ridicule. But I can't help. I can't get away. I feel more angry. And if you feel angry against Cummins, then I personally feel you should feel angry against our press. Like you just saw the BBC thing right at the front. If you haven't seen it, go back and have a look. There's Emily Maseys basically telling on an independent, on the publicly funded national stage, telling you how you should feel. How you should feel. Do you know what? I'm a dad. Right? I'm a dad. And I've said it before, and I've probably said it earlier on. I'm a dad, and I don't give a fuck about the rules. I don't give a fuck about the law. I don't give a fuck about whether I would have been arrested or in trouble. I would have done what is right. What I believe to be right. And I can guarantee you now, over the past 12 weeks, I have done things outside of the guidance. And I am pretty confident that the vast majority of the population have done things outside of the guidance. And you can sit there and you can write your tweets and write your Facebook things about what a twat Cummins is and bringing his autistic kid into it and oh, you know, his eyesight and all that kind of stuff in your fucking ivory tower. And I'm telling you now, you haven't socially distanced and you have broken the laws and you have done all these kind of things. And just maybe just like give a thought to what you've done. And I can guarantee you now that if you're a parent, you know, I would be rather criticised for being a bad parent because I broke the law and broke the guidance. Oh, you're a bad parent. You put your kid at risk by potentially infecting him with COVID. Right, I'll take that. I'll take that on the chin. Give me the fine, whatever it is, £1,000. But if I thought it was the right thing to do because I'm a parent and I'm that kid's dad, then I'm going to do it. And fuck you for questioning me. And fuck you for hounding me outside my house. That's what I think. And if you disagree, that's fine. Let me know. Lawrence, Susan Evans, we've had that one. Sorry, mate. That's it. Let's have a look. What else we've got? Any more comments? What do you think? Tony, it's not the news anymore. It's an agenda. News is factual, not an opinion. Social media. I mean, have you looked? Oh, Jesus. Have you looked at fucking Twitter? I mean, what a fucking vacuum that place is. I every now and again I venture into Twitter, and I just realise why I don't venture into Twitter anymore. It's just fucking, it's outrageous, outrageous. So left. And there, you know, and there you go. I bet he hasn't been banned. Andy Dawson, good for you, son. Good luck to you, mate. Good luck to you and all your Twitter followers. So I think I'm coming to an end. Have I got anything else? What else is going on? There was Saturday on TV years ago called Hot Metal. I remember that, though. Aimed at the Pop and Son. Scummy reported that. Prince Philip is not gay. The other went, Potter, you can't say that stuff. But you see, the thing is, I mean, I agree, Lawrence. I mean, I don't know. It just feels like we've lost our way. What worries me, actually, is, and this is a genuine concern, is I'm watching the news less. I feel that I'm an educated person. I feel that I'm quite political. I feel like I take interest, but I'm now switching off because, and I'm not listening to it, and I'm not engaging with it, and it's, I don't know, that's wrong in it, because there's probably lots of people like me now that actually that are quite political and that are quite passionate, that are just like going, it's just not for me anymore, because all it is the same. They've seized on a moment, they've seized on this Cummins thing, and they've just like, and it's like they just don't want to let it go. Don't let it go, don't let it go until we get the fucker sacked, and then we got another big story, and then everyone's going to watch us again and buy our papers and tweet, and I don't know. That's the way it feels. It feels like they're just like, that's the strategy. The strategy is get the story, make it a big story, and like we'll just keep hammering it, hammer, and then get a bigger story. Because when you get the bigger story, we broke it, it was us, or I don't know. I don't know. Am I going mad? It just feels that way. Just feels that way. Lawrence. Oh, we've talked about that. Sorry, Lawrence. Oh, my sister's come back. Hi, sis. The other day, you took the piss out of the Scottish MP, likening her physical appearance to one of the crankies. She does fucking look like a cranky, though, Sarah. As a female, she's likely to find it offensive. Why? It was a female portraying a character. Are you saying that females shouldn't portray male characters, Sarah? Just saying you're finding it unpalatable because it's aimed at the people you think should be in power, and you'd rather not see getting bashing. I agree and think that take a strong stance society is going. You need to, hang on, let's bring it back up again. You need to have the same anger towards all hatred expressed to all the people, and admit that you've probably been as rude towards lefties yourself. I've never, ever, 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 ever wished a lefty death. Never. And I've never, ever, 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 ever wanted a lefty to die. And I have. I absolutely agree, taking the piss out of Nicola Sturgeon for looking like Jimmy Cranky. I think that's to some extent of my political satire. I was making a comment on this Jonathan Pye geezer who people post on my Facebook and I just find very unfunny. And I was making a point, Sarah. Making a point that he's travelled from somewhere to go to fucking Westminster. Do you not see the irony of that? Right? So he doesn't look like Jimmy Cranky, like Nicola Sturgeon, but he's travelled from somewhere. I don't know where. If he lives in the Houses of Parliament or W1 down in Victoria Street, then fair play. He can have a walk in the park. But I bet he doesn't. And he's travelled for some distance with a camera crew because he's not taking his own photo. He's not doing a selfie. And he's doing a satire. And every word before every Tory person that he mentions is prefaced with twat, wanker, cunt, fuck, tit, whatever you want to call it. I don't do that. I made a comparison with Nicola Sturgeon to Jimmy Cranky. It was a joke. I think it's two different things. I haven't been out of this house. I've been on my bike rides. And I just find this absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. You got let's go back, three Labour MPs that have broken the rules. It's been reported, and the story, it's like, what's that? Usual Suspects, like Kaiser Sose. He was gone. The story was gone. Oh, because it's Cummins. Let's fucking hound him for a week. Let's get outside his house and let's put 50 fucking photographers and reporters outside his house with the microphones, breaking all social distancing rules, hounding him about, did you break social distancing rules? I mean, sorry, if you can't see the irony and the pathetic nonsense in that, then we're done, aren't we? We're done. How can you not? How can you not? Oh, I've done that, sorry. Have I done yours, Sarah? Sorry. I did take the piss. Tony? The journalists have a privilege to ask the MP questions on our behalf. All they've done is continue going about Cummins. I want to know about the economy. Agreed. What could it look like in 12 months? What's happening in the housing market? When can I see Muff? Well, they don't. They don't bother, Tony. They don't bother talking about important stuff. They want to kind of like, what was the Peston thing the other day? I mean, it was funny because Peston asked a question at Hancock and like Hancock just went, no. They don't use their time. They don't use their time. They don't use the time that they've got or their one question with any sense of any kind of real feeling about what the public want to know. They probably read Twitter. 80% of Twitter thinks Cummins should go. Prime Minister, do you know that 80% of the public want you to go, want you to sack Cummins? And he's like, that's not what I'm hearing. Piers Morgan. Yeah, no. I mean, fucking. There you go. Lefties. All the lefties watching it. There's your. Hold him up now. Like 12 months ago, I reckon he was like the Antichrist. Now, oh, blimey. He's the poster boy, isn't he? He's the poster boy. Poster boy for. I mean, he's a fucking idiot, isn't he? He's a fucking idiot. It's just ratings, isn't it? I mean, it just bores me. Again, if you're anything like me, you're not even watching it. Why would you watch it? Because all you know what's going to be on. It's like, I'm trying to think. I'll tell you what, it's like coming across Last of the Summer Wine. Like, not Last of the Summer Wine. It's like Only Fools and Horses, an episode you've seen a fucking 1,000 times. Why are you going to bother watching it again? You've seen it a million times. It was funny the first time. Dell falls through the thing. Da, da, da. After 30 years, it just gets boring. And like, this is like the news now. It's just getting boring. It's just the same fucking shit. Every fucking minute of every fucking day. Excuse my French. But it's true. I never thought You would dish out. Well, I don't, Sarah. I would never wish death on anyone. Colin, fandabidorzy. Fandabidorzy. So anyway, I'm going to finish off now. I'm going to finish off with some news. And this is how I would believe the news on the 6th of June, 1944 would be reported. So you ready? You ready? Ready. So, Operation Overlord. 1,200 plane assaults. 5,000 vessels. 160,000 troops. There to make the final push. The final battle. And if we were not to succeed, then, without doubt, not only would England and the world be a worse place, but the whole universe. And let's join Emily Mathers on the beach, there with Robert Peston. So how well equipped do you think you were as you landed on the beach? Did you think the government provided you with enough equipment to land on this beach safely? How did you feel about being taken towards the beach in a bus rather than a tank? I mean, that's our press now, isn't it? That's what it's all about. It's not about how good we are as a nation. It's not about what strides we're making to combat a disease that was forced upon us. It's just about what negative can you find out of it? What negative? You know, what's the negative things? And can you imagine this press? Can you imagine Sky News, the BBC, or anyone like that? Can you imagine them back in 1994 waiting for the troops to arrive? They're on the beaches as they're landing. Can you imagine what questions they would ask? You know, did Winston Churchill give you any indication that this is the danger that you would be encountering when you signed up? I mean, you know, seriously, I'm going to end with fuck off. Fuck off the press. It's just a fucking joke now. No one listens to it. I'd like to thank you for joining me. I'd like to thank you for all the comments. I felt like I've had a little rant today, and I really appreciate you joining me, and just is a bit of a joke in it. Who knows what we'll talk about next time. Thank you for joining me. Good night.